So, Jack, look, you've seen the movie not only once, and not only 2 times, but 3 times.
Yeah.
What's the verdict?
I liked it more each time. The first time I saw it, afterwards, I was kind of speechless because there is so much fictionalization in it. But, I was prepared for that the second time, and I could appreciate it, as a fictional movie, a drama, a brilliant story. Not quite a true story, but a engaging and very emotionally powerful story. And then I saw it again yesterday with you, and I enjoyed it even more.
But, I mean, you sort of have professional stock in this as well, ever since you were a Turing scholar. So the fact that it's a fictional story, how much of, how much shine through? I mean, how much were you willing to sort of bite the apple and say, yeah, okay, this is fiction? And how much were you, this is inaccurate and this is actually disturbing? What was the balance in there?
First time, I was very disturbed that there was so much blatantly false in it. But, by the time I got to my third viewing, I didn't mind so much that it was false. And what I liked were the kind of big picture things that they brought out. I mean, they portrayed, although the detail was completely shot, they portrayed very well the incredible significance of breaking Enigma. And they portrayed Turing as being right at the center of events, which he was. So kind of they got the 2 big things right. And it's less relevant that they got the detail wrong, though it is a shame that they got some of the detail wrong. I mean, Turing was a very fictionalized Turing. They portray him as, kind of insufferable. Turing in the movie is an insufferable character
right.
who can't understand even an invitation to lunch. He's so socially challenged, he can't understand a lunch invitation.
So, Jack, give us a brief rundown of this Turing person. Who was he?
Well, he was a genius. I guess that's the one-line summary. And he started pretty young. He was just 23 when he invented the fundamental principles of the modern computer. He was just a student at the University of Cambridge, a graduate student. And he was kind of a bit eccentric and a bit quiet, and he'd kind of fidget in lectures, and he didn't talk to people much. He liked solving problems by himself.
Why is it called the imitation game?
You
could call it a lot of things. You could call it Alan Turing, Life in Logic, but why did they call it the imitation game?
Well, it's a good title, I think, and it's very appropriate because Turing invented the imitation game. That was, they're his words, the imitation game. It was his test for whether a computer can think, whether a computer's intelligent. He constructed this kind of laboratory experiment that he called the imitation game. Nowadays, people call it the Turing Test, simply.
What's the outline of this test?
Well, you have the computer that you're testing, and then you have 2 human players. One is the human foil, and the other is the judge. And so the judge is faced by the other 2 players. The judge knows that one's a human, one's a computer. The judge can't see them or anything like that. All the judge can do is communicate with them by kind of email or text or something.
But only text, right? It's nonverbal.
No, yeah, it's just no speech, no visual contact, no fancy measuring devices, nothing. All the judge can do is kind of email the contestants and chat with them. And on that basis, the judge has to decide which is the human and which is the computer.
Towards the end here, Jack. Now, if we just have to look a little bit towards the scientific impact of sort of Turing's intellectual accomplishments, and you should pick one thing, what should that be?
It's so hard. Modern cryptanalysis, a whole field.
What about AI and artificial life or something?
Yeah, well, all of it. You could name any of them. There's, the modern computer. There's the whole field of uncomputability. There's artificial intelligence. There's artificial life. He was the first person to try to grow virtual organisms in a computer.
So he worked on artificial life. Jack, are you man or machine?
People are machines.
So much for the Turing test now. You're no good to me.